Hello Zitizens, this is Curt with another quick status readout concerning the refactoring that we're doing on the Ziti browser components. If you watched the previous video, you saw how I did the trust bootstrapping of the browser, basically from scratch all the way through acquisition of an ephemeral cert. This demo builds on that one, and here what I'll be demoing is the Chrome browser going, again, from nothing to completely connected to the Edge router. So we're going to go beyond just getting the cert, we're going to use that cert, and we're going to get on to the Ziti network. What we've got on the screen now is the Ziti browser core component. We're looking at that out in GitHub. I'm looking at its README, and I wanted to bring up a diagram that I'm starting to upload and work on because it's relevant to this particular demo. What we're going to be doing here is starting from a completely empty Chrome tab. We're going to go from there to a Ziti HTTP agent that has relationships with the controller and some of the other Edge routers, and have the Ziti browser runtime, once it arrives there, do the mutual TLS connection to one of our Edge routers. The deployment that I'm running for this particular demo comes out of the great work done by Clint and Jeff and Todd and others on our Ziti Quick Start. So if you go over to the Quick Start and you read the README that's there, you'll see this awesome diagram. And this is basically what I have running in this demo. If you were to replace this blue simple web server, what I have running in my world is a Dockerized instance of Mattermost. So that's the dark web server that the browser is going to be hitting. Also coming out of the box with that particular quick start is the ZAC, the Ziti admin console, which I've already pre-configured. So let me quickly log into and show you that I do have one service. I call it Mattermost Blue, again, because it's running in this blue section of the network. And I have that set up with a terminator going out to the container, which comes out of the box listening on port 8065. I wanted to draw your attention to a couple of lines of code that I added here just for this demo. We won't be walking through all of the Ziti browser core or the Ziti browser runtime in a demo like this. But I wanted to show you that the demo is going to be taking advantage of the presence of all that componentry. And what we're exposing here is kind of a look ahead. This is perhaps a flavor that you'll see in the upcoming Ziti SDK for the browser. So if you were instrumenting manually your own web app and you wanted to connect to a server that was dark on the internet directly from your JavaScript code, you would do something like this. You'd ask the runtime and then its embedded context for a new connection, and then you basically dial that connection to the name of the service. And again, we have that service named Mattermost Blue, so that is exactly what we are going to be dialing in this demo. So let me go ahead and start up a new incognito window in Chrome. I'm going to just watch the console chatter that comes out of the runtime and the Ziti browser core, and then I'll point out some interesting things that happened. And I have a Ziti HTTP agent running at a TLS name that I call browZer.Curt.ZitiNetFoundry.io. So let's go ahead and hit that. And it's done. So let's go back and walk you through this. And those two lines that I showed you before are going to create a new connection and then initiate the dial on that Ziti service, which causes kind of a cascade of work to be done under the covers. The runtime realizes that it doesn't have anything that it needs yet, so it starts talking to the WebAssembly to get all of the PKI in place, talk to the controller and do the CSRs and get the certs. So that's the same thing that you saw in the last video. And then once we have that, we begin the TLS handshake. So everything that is being done to get a mutual TLS connection is being done by the JavaScript that is running in the browser. Again, that's the Ziti browser core in conjunction with the Ziti browser runtime that are doing all that. So it's not Chrome, it's not the browser that's doing it, it's our JavaScript code. And we literally start doing what's necessary to put all the binary on the WebSocket that we're opening between the browser and the Edge router. We do all the handshake work and it eventually completes. And once we have opened a pathway to that edge router, we start talking to that edge router on its edge protocol. So we start sending hello messages and connect messages, and we do what's necessary again in the Ziti browser core to marshal and unmarshal all of the binary onto that wire. And you can see the dial to that service is finally complete. So we'll say it ended at 57:33. It started at 55, almost 0.3. So a couple of seconds to get from nothing, get all of the certs and everything else that we need to do the mutual TLS handshake and get connected to that edge router in just a couple of seconds. And this particular demo is slow because I'm using RSA keys in this particular demo, just so where I was testing last. But the EC keys are much faster, so look for even better performance than what we just saw here. If we were to take a look at the network tab, so looking at this network traffic, in addition to what you saw in the last demo, what we're doing now is we're taking that cert, we are interacting with the controller to find out which edge routers this identity that I'm using in the demo is allowed to interact with, and there are two. One of them is configured to only accept TLS connections, and the other one, with the name of WSS, is configured to use WebSocket connections. So we will go ahead and open a WebSocket to that, and it's over this WebSocket that is it's TLS between the browser, native browser, and the edge router, and over that normal TLS WebSocket connection, we will start doing our own internal TLS, mutual TLS in this case, and that's what these binary messages are: is us exchanging certs and doing the TLS handshake, and some of the later ones are edge protocol related connections and hello messages, those types of things. That's all I wanted to show you in this demo. The next one, which is upcoming in a few days, will involve the new JWT-based authentication, and that JWT-based authentication is what we're going to be using instead of the current UPDB-style authentication. So keep your eyes open for that, and we'll talk to you soon.